What's up?
What's happening?
We back again. We back again.
Back at it. Back at it.
Yeah, I think we're going to do another "What have you done?" or "What has he done for you lately?" Speaking of Biden, what has he done for you lately?
He ain't done nothing for me.
Ooh, yeah. Sorry.
Ooh, no.
Shout out to Janet Jackson if y'all didn't get that.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Yeah, sorry, my bad, Miss Jackson.
All right. Is our other host with the most in the house?
Are you there, fam?
The host with the most with the goat.
All right. There you
What's
go.
what's up, man? Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I hear you're out there doing amazing
All this
things
stuff.
as usual.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You know, it's a team effort and it's a team spirit. But yeah, I am so happy to be here tonight on ETM. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend that this is where you need to be 9 p.m. every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. And hey, call up too, right? We want to hear your voice too. We're going to talk about, once again, Biden. We're going to talk a little bit about last week's California Reparations Task Force meeting too, a little bit about where the F I just came from, and even more. So like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. ETM Media. Who else is bringing you this fire content? Oh, by the way, I think I'm getting ahead of myself because I know we're gonna talk about the GOAT show. So let me just fall back right now.
I don't know. Should we segue straight up into it, or should we? What should we do? Okay.
Well,
There
before you
you
do
go.
that, man, before we do that, because I do want folks to see, by the way, check us out, Go TV, Go Show, Political Go Show, coming to a YouTube near you. But before we go even into that stuff, I just want to thank everybody who's watching right now. Also, everybody who pulled up for last week's California Reparations Task Force meeting live stream. We live streamed it here on ETM Media as a community service. As you know, we are live streaming, I think, all of them, right? And will be. We also live streamed the first one that happened on June 1st, too. So I just want to thank everybody that came in and watched and made comments. And we really had a great time in the chat. I don't know if you all saw the YouTube chat. We was having a blast. We were answering questions, talking about reparations, right? Then we all pulled up for the public comment after, or later on in the meeting too. So I do want to thank everybody and who came out and pulled up for that last Friday. The next California Reparations Task Force meeting is, we don't know yet, right? But you can be sure that ETM Media will be live streaming the next California Reparations Task Force meeting. So make sure you're at the next one too. Also, I do want to thank everybody who contributed to the discussion on Friday at that task force meeting about community engagement, right? That was the big deal last Friday, right? Community engagement. What is community engagement? What is community? How are we going to be engaged in the community? So definitely want to thank everybody for engaging with us. There goes that word, engaging again. And working with us and helping us and pushing us to have some of the best community engagement ideas that were discussed on Friday. And your ideas, your thoughts, your feedback actually made it into the discussions on Friday by the task force. All the stuff and polls and posts that we put out on social media, asking you, those of you who are listening right now, about how you want to be engaged by this task force. You can tell I have a lot of energy tonight. Okay? That those ideas got into what was discussed on Friday, okay, by the task force. So more to come on that. I know we're gonna have a whole bunch of shows on that stuff, but I'll stop there.
All right, fam. We'll tell a friend about the task force. Again, we don't know when the next meeting is going to be, but stay tuned to ETM Media. We will be sure to let you know. Tell a friend. It's important that they hear, from the community, hear our testimony and hear everyone's story. So we want to flood the testimony lines at the next task force meeting. Again, we're not sure when that's going to be, but stay tuned and ETM will let you know.
Yep.
All right, so let's take a look at what's in the news.
All right, in the news, peace out to Nipsey Hussle, may rest in power. Over 2 years after Nipsey Hussle was killed outside his Marathon clothing store in South Los Angeles, the murder trial is still waiting to proceed. According to New York Daily News, a new lawyer for Eric Holder, the man accused of killing the Crenshaw rapper on March 31st, 2019, said the case should go to trial by December. In a court on Tuesday, July 29th, Deputy Public Defender Aaron Jansen said, "A lot of the work was done by my predecessor. Hopefully, by the end of the year, maybe early December, we can go to trial." The 31-year-old Holder was indicted, pretty close, on charges including 1 count of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder for bullets that hit 2 bystanders. He pleaded not guilty to charges that claimed he fired multiple rounds at Nipsey Hussle from 2 different guns.
Justice delayed is justice denied. They should go ahead and get to that. It's been 2 years. All right. Haiti president assassination suspect was confidential DEA source, officials say. One suspect linked to the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse has been a confidential source for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, a DEA official told Fox News. Following Moïse's death, there's been reports that someone had yelled DEA at the time of the assassination. The official said the agency was aware of those reports and that while the suspect in question contacted the DEA after the attack, they were not acting on the DEA's behalf. Following the assassination of President Moïse, the suspect reached out to his contacts at the DEA. A DEA official assigned to Haiti urged the subject to surrender to local authorities, and along with U.S. State Department officials, provided information to the Haitian government that assisted in the surrender and arrest of the suspect and 1 other individual. The official did not name the suspect in question. So far, 26 former Colombian soldiers are suspected in the killing, and 23 have been arrested, along with 3 Haitians. Haitian National Police Chief Leon Charles said 5 suspects are still at large, and at least 3 have been killed. On Monday, authorities announced the arrest of Christian Emmanuel Senan, one of the 3 suspects with ties to the U.S. Charles said that after the assassination, 1 suspect called Senan, who got in touch with 2 people believed to be masterminds of the plot. He did not identify them or say how police know who they are. All sounds very convenient.
Yep. Biden will withdraw all U.S. forces from Afghanistan by September 11th. 2021. President Biden will withdraw all American troops from Afghanistan over the coming months, U.S. officials said, completing the military exit by the 20th anniversary of September 11, 2001, attacks that drew the United States into its longest war. The decision, which Biden is expected to announce Wednesday, will keep thousands of U.S. forces in the country beyond the May 1st exit deadline that the Trump administration negotiated last year with the Taliban. According to a senior administration official who briefed reporters Tuesday under rules of anonymity set by the White House. While the Taliban has promised to renew attacks on U.S. and NATO personnel if foreign troops are not out by the deadline, and said in a statement it would not continue to participate in any conference about Afghanistan's future until all foreign forces have departed. It is not clear whether the militants will follow through with the earlier threats given Biden's plan for a phased withdrawal between now and September. The Taliban has conducted sputtering talks with the Afghan government begun under the Trump deal since last fall. It was also invited to an additional high-level inter-Afghan discussion in Turkey later this month.
Latest earthquakes near Sacramento, Sacramento County, California, USA, past 30 days. During the past 30 days, Sacramento was shaken by 4 earthquakes of magnitude 3.0 or above, and 2 quakes between 2.0 and 3.0. There were also 3 quakes below magnitude 2.0, which people don't normally feel. Biggest quake, unconfirmed quake reported 11 miles east of Sacramento, California, July 8th. 5 days ago, most recent quake, unconfirmed quake reported Yuba County, 5.7 miles southeast of Yuba City, Sutter County, California, USA, July 8th, 5 days ago. I did not feel not nan earthquake.
I did feel a little bit. I don't know, Chris, did you feel a little something? I don't know if Chris is there. Maybe he felt it so bad that
I'm here, man.
He's still all shook up.
He's all shook
fumbling
up.
to find my unmute button, and yeah, I felt it, man. I felt it.
Felt a little. Now, it wasn't nothing because I used to live in Los Angeles. Now, LA, man, when they had some quakes down there, boy. But yeah, I did feel it.
Yo,
up here.
I was going to say, so this was so I think everybody, or a lot of people know, so I'm from New York originally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got out here in California in, I think, 2015. I never experienced an earthquake in my life, okay? Up until last week or earlier this week, okay? And I didn't know what was going on at first. I was standing in my kitchen. I was standing actually right where I am now. And I saw like the screen start shaking a little bit. And I was like, okay. And I just paused. And then I felt and saw other stuff start shaking. It was, not that bad. But I immediately said to myself, holy bleep, this is an earthquake. I don't know what to do, because I'd never been in it before. So it was definitely a learning experience for me this week.
Now, what are some of the, I guess, like weather patterns or issues out there in New York? Because I know Florida, they got the hurricanes out there. In the Midwest, they got their tornadoes. And obviously out here, we got the earthquakes. But what about, some of the,
blizzards? I will tell you that I almost got trapped at LaGuardia. Friggin' blizzard, couldn't get a cab in the cab. I'm calling up the cab and he's like, oh, it's a blizzard, I can't come get you. I'm like, is you crazy? I'm about to miss my flight. But what else? I mean, snow, blizzards, and what other extreme weather?
Yeah. So for us, it's definitely hurricanes. Okay, we don't get spared from the hurricanes. So definitely hurricanes. I would say the cold blizzards, like Kim is saying. So it's really blizzards in like the winter and hurricanes in like the summertime or like the late summertime. So it's really that. And then we get a combination of like a lot of different seasons in New York. Like we'll have in the summertime it tends to rain and also be very hot and sunny at the same time. So yeah, but really it's just the hurricanes and the blizzards. That's the only thing. But I never experienced an earthquake in my life. Okay, until earlier this week. And let me tell you, I was very aware that I did not know what to do.
I've been here all my life and I still have never felt an earthquake. I don't know, maybe I'm earthquake immune here in my fortress and unshakable. All right. So speaking of bizarre weather,
All right. Blistering heat wave sets record temperatures across California. A blistering heat wave set new record high temperatures across California on Sunday, including 120 degrees in Palm Springs, and authorities urged people to conserve electricity as the extreme conditions continue to tax the state's power grid. Palm Springs and Borrego, which reached 118 degrees, both broke records for July 10th. Palmdale Regional Airport hit a new high for the day at 112 degrees, and the Lancaster Airport tied its record of 113 degrees, according to the National Weather Service. In Central California, the Paso Robles Airport tied its previous 1961 record of 114 by 3 p.m., officials said. Northern California saw scorching temperatures as well, with Redding reaching 114 and downtown Sacramento hitting 111. Amid the intense dry heat, the Sugar Fire, one of the two wildfires sparked by lightning in the Plumas National Forest north of Sacramento, had spread to more than 54,000 acres by Saturday and was only 8% contained, officials said. Death Valley was expected to reach record-breaking temperatures Sunday of 130 degrees, which equals the hottest temperature recorded on Earth in nearly a century. But that record came 2 days early on Friday afternoon. In response to another growing wildfire in southern central Oregon that is affecting transmission lines and use to import energy to California, Governor Gavin Newsom on Saturday signed an executive order to free up additional energy capacity.
It was hot on Saturday, I will tell you that much.
Yep.
All right. Maria Taylor, ESPN, facing possible divorce over Stephen A. Smith money. At one point in negotiations with NBA Finals host and college football national championship sideline reporter Maria Taylor, ESPN offered her a raise from her current salary of nearly $1 million per year that would eventually reach almost $5 million, according to sources. Taylor turned it down. Taylor, sources said, was hoping to be in the Stephen A. Smith money neighborhood, which is nearly $8 million annually. But since the initial near $5 million offer was made during last year's pandemic, the world and ESPN has changed even further, with Disney closely watching the network's pocketbook, a pocket watching. The majority of big earners at ESPN are being asked to take pay cuts. Today, ESPN wants to keep Taylor, but the initial offer is not on the table. According to sources, what is being offered right now is not known, but it's believed to be in the $2 million to $3 million range. At a time when ESPN is cutting salaries and letting on-air people go, it's offering her a raise. Will it be enough, especially if it continues to be less than what was once on the table?
Kind of sounds like, little bit, kind of like reparations, where it's like, we're going to give you something, but not enough.
Right. So this paycheck comes into question after the diversity hiring controversy. So we'll see how that plays out, and if she gets the money she's looking for. All right, I'll take this one.
On this real quick. I got to pause on this. So perfect time to talk about where I just came from. Actually, an hour ago, right? I was very lucky to be asked to testify again today to the California Senate, and in support of a bill we call AB 105, and it's called the Upward Mobility Act of 2021, or AB 105. And what that bill does, and what we just finished testifying for here, as those of us who work with, as we all do, CJEC, Coalition for a Just and Equitable California. By the way, shout out to everybody who called in for public comments. Thank you so much for all your public comment support behind our testimony today. But why is this relevant right now? Well, Kim, we just talked about a story where there is, and this has been in the news, in the sort of popular culture news and the sports world news for the last week, right? There's this question of diversity and hiring and job discrimination, et cetera, et cetera. So what our bill does here in California, AB 105, is it requires the state of California on state boards and commissions where there's a voluntary position and when there is a vacancy after 2022 to have at least one person who is a person from an underrepresented community, quote unquote, on the state board or commission, at least one member of that community going forward after 2022. So that's what the bill does. It requires for state boards and commissions that there be somebody from at least one person from an underrepresented community on state boards and commissions after 2022. So I just want to point that out. Now, obviously, we also like AB 105 because it does something very, very important in addition to requiring that there be somebody who is from an underrepresented community on state boards and commissions after 2022. What we also like about AB 105 is language that we actually help author, right? We actually helped author language that will add some parts to the California law that say, hey, when you're measuring whether or not, you're how many, people from an underrepresented community on this board and this agency and that agency, when you're measuring and, collecting information, well, that category called Black or African American that you usually use to catch everybody, right? Who is basically not white and not, Hispanic and not AAPI, right? Well, actually, you have to break that down a little bit more and get more clear about what the different groups are in that Black or African American category. For example, we have our brothers and sisters from the African continent who are here. We got our brothers and sisters from Jamaica and the Caribbean who are here. Brothers and sisters from South America who are here, who are also what you might call, in our way of talking about it, Black, right? But then you have those of us who descend from U.S. slavery, also here, right? And we've been here, right? We actually built here. Okay? So we're also a group inside of that Black group. So our bill, AB 105, also says, hey, when you're measuring your progress toward this diversity, just make sure that you're looking at specifically whether or not you're talking about this Black group versus that Black group. This just gives us more clarity, and it gives us better visibility into the different needs of the different types of Black folks who are here. We're all family, but we, this is a cousin and this is a brother and this is a mother, right? So there are differences, right? And we want to make sure that that the state is getting good sight into those differences. I just wanted to point that out because it was the perfect place to drop that in there, and I forgot to say it in the beginning.
Oh, no, that's great. And where is AB 105 going next?
Yeah, thanks. So today's hearing, today, just and literally, and I want to thank everybody who pulled up for the public comments, because that was a 5.5 hour meeting for us, right? We started at like 3 o'clock and we just finished at 8:30. Okay, and literally they called our bill like at 8:10 or 8:15. This was in the California Senate Judiciary Committee. The next stop for this bill is the California Senate Appropriations Committee, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to go to the place where they look at, okay, well, what are the money implications of doing this? Is it going to cost the state money to do this, and how much? And right, so that's the next place that we go. And then after that, we should go to the Senate floor for all California senators to vote on, all 60, I believe, all 60 California senators to vote on, either 40 or 60. And then very shortly after that, we'll go to the governor's desk for Governor Newsom to sign. Then the real fun begins, okay? Because then we actually have to work to make it work in practice, right? So, yeah.
All right, we'll work ahead, but good work so far.
Excellent.
All right, in vaccination news, let's see, vax that thing up. Juvenile turns hip hop classic into pro-vaccine anthem. The New Orleans rapper Juvenile's biggest hit record, Back That Thing Up, might have been released 21 years ago, but the classic song is now enjoying a new life as a reworked pro-vaccine peony. Maybe you could help with that word, Umoya, but that could prove to be a stroke of genius in the battle against COVID-19 in the Black community. On July 6th, the YouTube channel for BLK, a dating app created for Black singles, released the video for Vax That Thing Up, which finds the former Lil Wayne collaborator giving new lyrics to his original summertime dance anthem. With the original music from Back That Thing Up remaining closely intact, the song features catchy new lyrics with the jab of social responsibility mixed with romantic ambitions. It's fun, funny, and creative solution to a major obstacle to defeating the COVID-19 pandemic. Black adults younger than 40, according to U.S. Census Bureau, are the most likely group in the country to resist the vaccination. Among likely reasons for the community's hesitation are widespread distrust of government, and specifically government medicine, due to historic incidents such as the infamous Tuskegee experiment, in which nearly 400 Black men with latent syphilis were deceived and unwittingly studied by the U.S. Public Health Service and the Center for Disease and Prevention.
Okay. Can I get in on this one?
Please.
Vax that thing up. Vax that thing up.
Girl, you look good. Won't you vax that thing?
You's a handsome young brother. See, it's catchy. So.
Juvie, what's going on? Juvie, what's going on? So, first of all, that story sounds like promotion for the song, right? Because it's clear the author likes the story. I mean, likes the song, right? So today, actually, just about while we were waiting for our bill, AB 105, to get heard, a bill came up for the Senate to vote on called AB 1007. AB 1007. I want you right now, if you're listening, watching, all that, if you was live with a playback, thank you for listening and watching. Go Google AB 1007 California. Okay. And what you're going to find is that bill is a bill to pay reparations to people who were, and you all know this, forcibly sterilized and subject to the eugenics program here that the state of California had back in I think the 40s or 30s or 20s. Our state's eugenics sterilization racism plan was so good that guess who used it as an example? None other than the Nazi Germany leadership, right? This was, and now what I just said to you, a sitting California senator just said that literally verbatim, the same words I just used exactly, just said that an hour ago to the California Senate, and is working to get those people reparations. All right. Now, the article mentions Tuskegee, right? That is very present in the minds of Black folks, right? That was when the U.S. government gave us syphilis, gave Black men syphilis on purpose, right? They gave Black men and women syphilis on purpose, and watched, and just so they could watch how the disease developed. And when there was treatments for it, they didn't give it to us because they used us, in this case, as lab rats, human lab rats, and they didn't tell us either. Okay. Black people, those of us who descend from U.S. slavery, we have there's something about our memory. We have a ancestral memory, I think. Okay. It's going to be hard to get a lot of us. Now, listen, if you want to take the vaccine, I support you. I'm not going to, I'm not going to tell you to not take it. All right. To be honest with you, I am actively considering taking the vaccine, and I probably will at some point, right? But it's not. I don't like. It's not that I trust the government though, because I don't. And it's not that I'm not worried in some ways about how all this is happening. Yesterday, we had, I think, Johnson & Johnson, who makes one of the three or four vaccines that we have legalized here in this country. Johnson & Johnson said, well, we're thinking you may have to have a third vaccine shot now. All right. So in addition to the two, they're talking about another shot. Now, sometimes we call this like a booster shot, right? But so it's not one shot anymore. All right. It's not two shots anymore. Now it's three. Yesterday also, we had research come out that there is things we are learning about this vaccine and how it affects people in the real world, right? When you give it to a lot of people, and that's to be expected, right? Because we expect, that we're going to learn stuff. Point I want to make here is this: we have to be, I think, very careful as a people and look at ourselves specifically in the special way that we are, right? And look at our special relationship to this country. I don't think the Vax That Thing Up was genius, as the author says. Okay, it may be like horrible. I mean, to me, it's just horrible. It's disrespectful in many ways, right? First of all, it's an old ass song anyway. Like, it's not like, and I'm in that under 40 black people category. So, I'm in the under 40 unvaccinated black people category. So I can tell you very, very closely, very clearly, whoever thought this up, this was not a good idea. Okay, Juvenile's getting clowned on Instagram, clowned on Twitter, clowned on Facebook, clowned on YouTube. Okay, people don't want to hear that song no more. Right? I mean, like the real version of the song. So let me stop here because I can go on, and we're supposed to have an hour show. Okay, I'm supposed to get to some real stuff, but that's my.
I mean, no, you're right. As I was searching for an article to show on the show tonight, all of the mainstream media found this favorable. They thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it's just wonderful, and what a great parody. And everybody loved it, and I'm like, they haven't checked out Black Twitter and the Black media, because everybody had something to say. Kwame Brown wasn't feeling it. Our boy Tariq, you sent me his YouTube on it, wasn't feeling it, and neither was Michi X, and I'm not feeling it either. And I'm wondering, because they're doing so much targeting towards the Black community, and saying that we're resistant to this. Well, what about all these Trump supporters that are very loud about saying that they're not getting the vaccine and their, rights, and they're in America? Where are their statistics, and where are their, heavy targeted media is what I'm wondering. So
you're right, kid. You're right as hell. And the two things here, and I think it's important to touch on, because just for the family listening, because this is important, right? So Kim is absolutely right. And what you're pointing to, Kim, is like there's almost like a scapegoating sort of like going on, right? Like, so there has been an increase in the number of cases. I think our cases are up maybe with 10-20% overall nationally in the last 2 weeks. I'm talking COVID-19, and this is largely because of what folks are calling the Delta variant, right? So COVID-19, this virus has been mutating and changing. Okay. By the way, it's pretty clear right now that this virus came from a lab. Okay. And we were saying that was conspiracy like 6 months ago. Okay. Literally all the best scientific evidence says this thing comes from a lab. Okay. And there's specific reasons why, but why that's important right now to say is because this Delta variant, right? One of the things that was made not normal about this virus is its ability to change itself fast. Okay. So all viruses what we call mutate and change, right? To adapt, because they're trying to survive and be alive, and they don't want to get killed, right? So, they change, right? But the kind of changing and the fat and how fast this thing changes and how strong it is when it changes. This is something that is new or not normal for this kind of virus. And so we have this thing now called the Delta variant, which is like the 4th or 5th mutation of this virus since we learned about it. And our cases are up, right? Our cases are up. Black people are being definitely, and we got to keep it real. Black folks were hit hard, the hardest pretty much by COVID, right? And we're still struggling. I think almost like 20%, 1 in 4, 1 in 5 of the deaths overall were Black folks last year. And I'm not sure how much it is this year. Black folks, I think, are being scapegoated right now for this, or this surge, right? And this, vaccine hesitancy, what they call it. But to be honest with you, the government don't have nobody to blame but themselves. And this is making it worse. Like, it's like when you're trying too hard, right? Like with somebody, right? Like that, like you might push them away, right? Like that's not, they are trying way too hard. Okay? Way too hard. And it's offensive in a way, because like it just sort of plays on like stereotypes that white people have for Black people, right? Oh, if you want us to learn something, you got to dance with it. You got to put it in a rap song. It's like, no, we heard everything you said before, and we still not effing with it. So anyway.
Yeah, that's before we move on. I was going to mention that one of the issues that I definitely had with the targeting of specifically for Black people is that, they oftentimes use one of us to target their message, right? And especially with, that song. I mean, they had the women up there, doing whatever they were doing, twerking, dancing. Backing it up, back that thing up, and it's unfortunate because, I mean, first of all, that song you're talking about, 2 different messages, right? So it's basically was a club track, and now you're trying to make it seem something like it turned into a positive thing when the original thing wasn't positive anyway, right? They should have just made a whole different new song, as far as I'm considered, and that'd have been a little bit more legit. I think, in my opinion, if they were like, no, we're going to do a whole nother song, but it's just the whole thing was an embarrassment. It was embarrassment to Black people. It was embarrassment to America. It was definitely embarrassment to hip hop. It was embarrassment to musicians and a whole nine. And they really need to, I don't even know if they've even come out and said any. I mean, I wouldn't at this point. If I was them, I would just go back to, I wouldn't even go to the drawing board. I wouldn't show my face anywhere. But, it's really unfortunate, that, Black people put ourselves in this situation and then wonder, why we don't get anywhere.
Yeah, it was highly, highly insulting. And then the company behind it, this BLK, which I guess is a Black dating app. But maybe they need to be looked into. I mean, I don't even believe they're Black people, because I did see a little snippet of Juvenile giving an interview, and he said that they came at him and they're marketing people. They had this idea. Didn't sound like they were Black to me, but apparently they have this Black dating app so they can market what they want to Black people at any time. So.
Good point. So, yeah. So, I mean, I think this picture up here is self-explanatory. I mean, they're promoting this thing up, yet, Common has a beautiful song out right now. It's called Imagine. If you haven't had a chance to go see it, check it out. Wonderful, uplifting. And I can't remember the sister's name who's in, I think it's PJ or something like that. I mean, it just kind of shows the duality of, Black Americans in this country, right? Where in one instance, I just keep it what it is. One instance we're looking at like being buffoons. And on the other instance, we're trying to create some positivity, in our own community, and not only in our own community, but to the masses in general. So, this is just self-explanatory. Don't even know what to say.
I do.
Mm,
I'm sorry.
I guess Chris does. Go ahead, bro.
Man, nah, you know what, man? You know what, man? Let's just go where the spirit is taking us, okay? Because so man, this Kim, you made a good point. And first of all, Jamoya, everything you said, Jamoya, I completely agree with you. And the point that Kim was making earlier that I didn't even address what I was trying to, but I started talking and forgot, obviously. It actually ties into your last point, Jamoya. The You had the same reaction that I had to this. I don't know no black people that I've talked to that liked that. Okay. And like I said, everything I saw on social media is trashing the thing. But every story you saw, right, Kim, was a positive story. Okay. So how does that happen? Right. Well, we know for a fact that well, I mean, I don't know for a fact. Let me not say that. Let me be honest here, right? I don't know for a fact that there was, administration support for this kind of thing, right? Like, and by administration, I mean like White House support for this kind of thing, right? Because why would they get involved in something, in a particular video, right? But what I do think is very true is that, and listen, this is if you listen to any White House press briefing any day, you'll hear White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki say something about what the president and what the White House is doing to up the vaccinations and to increase the vaccinations. And even this week, I heard Jen Psaki say, "Hey, listen, it's the Black and Latino neighborhoods and the Black and Latino populations that are heavily unvaccinated. It's also the folks in the South too, right? It's just also these Southern states, right? Which is another way to say Black folks too." So I know there's money coming out of the administration, and that comes from that COVID bill. Actually, the last COVID bill that we did earlier this year. I know there's money to do things like outreach for vaccinations and vaccine hesitant communities. So I can only guess that like where the money flow came from. Like where the money for something like this came from. And to be honest with you, it's almost like it's just common sense that there's a pool of money inside the White House. They're doing outreach. They probably reached out to a lot of groups. One of those groups is a group that was connected to, or is the group that reached out to juvenile people, right? And this is a part of this national sort of please get vaccinated effort. And that's why the stories are all positive, okay? Because as a part of that work that they're doing to get folks vaccinated, that outreach work, they're also doing outreach to media. So I can only imagine, that there was some media coordination here too, where, hey, all the stories got to be positive. We need glowing stories about this effort. So
You're right. Glowing stories. They were loving it. I was like, white people ain't never loved rap music so much in their life. And and it's coming to your doorstep next, Chris. They're going to be doing some door-to-door canvassing on this vaccine thing, I hear. So don't be surprised when you get that knock at the door. And now that the Haitian president is dead, I heard Speaker Sake say that vaccines are headed to Haiti. So
yeah, that's a damn shame. Damn shame. The door-to-door stuff. She actually dealt with some of that earlier in the week in one of the press briefings earlier, and we're talking about the White House press briefings, by the way, which are on YouTube every day. And there are some states that are saying ain't nobody going door to door in my neighborhood, in my state, with no vaccines. Okay, I think there's at least 3 or 4 states that have like advanced laws to forbid anybody from going door to door with vaccines, and these are southern states. Okay, the white folks don't like it. Okay, so there's that too.
Right, but we're not, like I said, seeing any precision marketing towards them. So All right. Well, I guess that is in the news.
Wow. So I guess in the news almost took up what, the whole hour this time?
Yeah. So we've got a couple of more slides here of Biden's exhaustive executive orders. I think we'll skip slide 2, which has quite a few on it. We'll go to the last slide, which just has a few. So we'll go over there and then save the meteor slide for another show. Like I said, the executive orders that just keep on giving. So we've got preventing and combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity and sexual orientation. That sounds like one that we did last time, but a different one. Just more gender identity executive orders. Anyone have any thoughts on that?
Last time, right?
Huh?
Yeah. It sounds like no, I was just gonna say what you said, Kim. It sounds like 2 that we looked at last time. So once again, for the family watching right now, 1, thank you for hanging in with us. Right, we're coming up on the hour. Thank you for hanging in with us, and also like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff too. And so what we're looking at now and this is what we wanted to focus on today again, which is looking at what is President Biden doing, like, in executive orders, right? And is there anything for Black people in there? Basically, those 2 questions. What's he doing? What's in it for us? Okay. And the answers have been a lot and none, basically, or a lot and nothing, right? A lot he's doing, nothing for us.
You mean lot of
we're looking
nothing?
at the executive orders. Yes, sir.
Yeah, a lot of nothing is basically what you're saying.
A whole lot of nothing.
A whole lot of nothing. Yeah, a whole lot of nothing, right? So that one you just read, Kim, is another gender and sexual orientation, et cetera. These, for all intents and purposes, for everything, nothing wrong with these, right? The idea here is, though, we keep seeing example after example after example after example of the president doing something specifically for one group of people or another group of people who are connected by something, right? By race, by ethnicity, by gender, by sexuality, right? But we don't see nothing with Black people name on it, okay? And that's what you're going to keep seeing. That's the underlying theme of why we're doing this too. 1, to keep you informed, but then 2, to show you that you're being ignored.
Yep. Kim, do you want to just pull up the other slide and we'll just read through them, and then if Chris has any comments on any one of them at the end, or anybody, then we'll just
a recap of last week or the next slide.
Oh, the other slide. We'll just go through it just real quick.
All right, we'll get through it.
And then so let's just go through this real quick, and then Chris, if you have any specific items that you want to speak on, go ahead. But I'll start from the top and let's go down. Creating a comprehensive regional framework to address the causes of migration, to manage migration throughout North and Central America. Establishment of interagency task force on the reunification of families. Restoring faith in our legal immigration systems. Strengthening Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology, tackling the climate crisis at home and abroad, reforming our incarceration system to eliminate the use of privately operated criminal detention facilities, enabling all qualified Americans to serve their country in uniform. Interesting. Ensuring the future is made in all of America by all of America's workers. Economic relief related to the COVID-19 pandemic, protecting the federal workforce, ensuring a data-driven response to COVID-19, ensuring an equitable pandemic response and recovery, establishing the COVID-19 pandemic testing board, improving and expanding access to care and treatments for COVID-19, promoting COVID-19 safety in domestic and international travel, protecting worker health and safety, supporting the reopening and continuing operation of schools and early childhood education providers, a sustainable public health supply chain, advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities throughout the federal government, ensuring a lawful and accurate enumeration and apportionment pursuant to the decennial census, and organizing and mobilizing the United States government to provide a unified and effective response to combat COVID-19 and to provide United States leadership on global health and security. Wrap that up. So what you guys say, bro? You got anything specific on any one of these executive orders?
Man, I got the same thing I just had, man. Look at how not a priority Black folks are. Right.
Well, what about 7009, advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through federal government? Are we getting warmer?
No. Nope. That's the status quo, right? That's what they do for us now, right? Which is nothing, right? Which is talk about us as underserved community. They can't save Blacks to save their lives, except for when it's election time. How much of the word Black and Black agenda have you heard over the last 6 months? Have you heard the words Black agenda?
Only from you and the fam.
like, you know, I mean, how many stories were there about the Black agenda in 2020 and what Black folks need and what Black folks want? There is no, like, where are we in the priorities of this administration? And we're looking at them tell us what their priorities are with these executive orders. This is public. You could go right now and Google list of Joe Biden executive orders. You'll pull up the same list we are looking at plus more, right? I just want us to pay attention to us not being a priority and remember this, okay? Remember this, right? Because in 6 months, literally, and to be honest with you, I think it's probably going to start after Labor Day. So in the next month or two, really, but soon, no matter what, soon, these same people are going to be back saying, hey, can you rehire me? Okay. Meaning vote for me. Right. And you need to ask them what Janet Jackson asked us, right? What have you done for me ever? Okay. But
just
definitely
lately, but ever, huh?
Yeah, I just think we need to get out of this underserved communities, bucket. That's where we need to keep fighting for our reparations portfolio. Then once we're out of that underserved communities, what are they going to do? What are they going to tie it to? All their so-called racial equity.
Well,
all right.
Now, right? Like there's no, and I know we got one minute here. Let me say 2 seconds, and not 2 seconds, a few seconds to close this up. There is, you see, I don't want to have to keep doing this like legal jujitsu, like we can do it and we're getting good at it, to be honest with you. But I don't want to have to keep we have executive orders that say, doing X, Y, Z for the Asian community, AIPI community, doing X, Y, Z for the transgender community, doing X, Y, Z. I love all of that stuff, but where's ours at? Right? Why wasn't ours first up there? You see? Okay, let me calm down. Okay.
No, you're absolutely right. It's infuriating. All right, our last slide. And we went over 7023, the discrimination on basis of gender identity and sexual orientation. The next one up is ethics commitments by executive branch personnel. So we have to expect them to be ethical. That doesn't sound like it's worth the paper it's written on. And protecting public health and our environment and restoring science to tackle the climate crisis, protecting the federal workforce and requiring mask wearing. What? Revocation of certain executive orders concerning federal regulations, revision of civil immigration enforcement policies and priorities. Can we go back to the mask wearing one?
Go ahead if you got
What
something.
does that mean?
Sounds like it means they're going to require federal workers to wear, or folks to wear folks to wear masks who are federal employees or in federal buildings or stuff like that.
And the rest of us don't have to wear masks. That's another reason I'm suspect
No.
of this whole thing. They're just pulling stuff. I mean, 1 minute it's, teachers and students can wear masks. Now they can't. Oh, you have to have a mask on when you go to the library. I mean, there are just all these arbitrary rules.
Yeah, they really messed up the and they, this started back in the Trump administration too, but I think over the last few months, I think there's been a lot of confusion, and to be honest with you, the Republican Party has been beating up some of the Democrats on this. I'm not sure why, because they're no better, but the Republicans have been able to use some like communications confusion, the same stuff that you're talking about, Kim. Like there's been mixed messages coming out of the same organization in the government. There's been mixed messages coming from the White House and the CDC, which the CDC works for the White House. There was mixed messages even this week when Johnson & Johnson, like I just said, was announcing that folks would need a third shot, and I don't think they talked to the White House before they did that, and so then the White House had to come out like on Wednesday and say, or last week and say, hey, this is something different. So and like clear it up. So there's been a lot of like messaging problems, right? And yeah, this is a problem, and I think we're gonna have to get better at this fast, because we're in a good space now. I think like better than we definitely were last year, but that doesn't mean that things can't change. Right,
especially with all the mutating variants that you mentioned earlier in the show. Yeah. So I see Moya posting up some stuff about the political goat. So, there's another chance to watch ETM Media for more political content. Want to tell us about it, Yamoya?
Yeah, I think, I'll probably have Chris, elaborate, but this is something a little different. I know, on the ETM Media platform, we stick to a lot of politics and so forth, dealing with Black folks and reparations. In this one, we're going to get a little bit more deeper. We're going to talk about, the elections. We're going to talk about trying to invite some other people onto the platform. Definitely going to be community based as well. So we would appreciate everybody who is watching to come onto that. But we're just going to get deeper. We're going to dive in just deeper. I don't know, Chris, you want to say something, bro?
Real quick, pull up. 10 a.m. 10:30 or 10 a.m. I think we said 10 a.m. or 10:30, one of the two. Sundays, every Sunday. I think we said 10:30, so that's probably better.
Just hit the bell so you get the notification. Hit the bell.
Yeah.
Did you pop the link in the comments, Yamoya?
Yeah, it's in the comments, fam. So just subscribe. The subscription is right there. Please, we need y'all's support. I mean, without y'all, we wouldn't even be doing this thing. So, we appreciate, everybody taking a listen to this program. But on this one, on the other one, we're just, no holds barred. We're going to go in and hopefully invite some other people that have different perspectives and so forth. And if you're willing to come onto the platform, if you got chops like that, bring your A game, baby. We're open.
Bring it.
All right. Kim, we got that promo for the
yeah. So we're gonna leave the fam with this, leave them with something to remember us by, and remember to go subscribe, like, and hit the bell at the new Political Goat YouTube channel. See you next time, fam.
Peace.
I am the greatest.
Yes, you. I'm talking to you. We're going to be bringing you all kinds of amazing political content right here on the Political Goat Show.
It's round one. Let's go.
Round one.
All right,
Fight.
do it.
So let's talk about and one. This is just a tease, fam, of the kind of amazing content you're gonna get, and also